Welcome to SportsCenter on YouTube. Alongside David Lloyd, I'm Ryan Smith. Big night on the pitch tonight for USA Soccer. Basically a win-or-go-home situation for them. We'll have more on that in a second. But first, big night in the NBA.
Free agency started last night in the NBA, and that gives us breaking news into SportsCenter. Woj reporting that Paul George and the 76ers have agreed to terms on a 4-year, $212 million max deal. George spent the last 5 seasons with his hometown team, the Clippers, but talks between George and the Clips did not yield an agreement. So Paul George is now headed to Philadelphia to join Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey. The man who broke that news joins us right now. I don't even want to know about your sleep habits, Woj. I know it was a very short night.
Don't ask, David.
Now, I do want to know about Paul George. How eventually did he wind up in Philadelphia?
Well, the Sixers' willingness to go to a 4-year deal for Paul George at 34 years old, something that the Clippers were not willing to do, and the chance to play with Joel Embiid, with Tyrese Maxey, an opportunity to be now on a championship contender, and to go to Philly, try to win that city's first title since 1983. Paul George was in a meeting last night, very late in L.A. With Philly's management, with Dr. J, Julius Erving, and he committed to the Sixers before he left that room. And now, Paul George comes to a Sixer team that's trying to overtake the Boston Celtics, and it gives them the big two-way wing player that you need to play against Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown.
All right, so a big power shift there in the East with George going to Philadelphia. As for another California team, the Warriors, they have waived Chris Paul. Sounds like he's heading to the Spurs, and he may not be the only guy leaving town. What about Klay Thompson?
Klay Thompson spent last night meeting with the Dallas Mavericks, the Los Angeles Lakers, right at the beginning of free agency. I'm told the first call to Klay Thompson at 6 o'clock Eastern, LeBron James. I know he was supposed to talk to J.J. Redick late last night, but he was very serious in his talks with the Mavericks too. And so I was told that Klay Thompson was sleeping on it last night, but he's ultimately choosing here between the Mavericks, the Lakers. He has played his last game for the Golden State Warriors.
How about that? Drafted in 2011, won 4 titles with the Warriors, but he is leaving the Bay Area and moving on. Woj giving us the very latest as free agency started last night.
Well, the heat is on for the U.S. in the Copa America today as they take on Group C's top team, Uruguay, in the group finale. Now, the U.S. second in the group, but in near must-win territory, and they'll be short starter Tim Weah, serving a 2-match ban for the head jab on an opponent in Thursday's 2-1 loss to Panama. Also, goalkeeper Matt Turner's status is unclear after leaving that Panama game with a leg injury. So now, let's go through some scenarios, shall we? There are paths for the United States to advance, but there are a lot of them, but here are some notable ones. If they win, they still need help. They need a Panama loss or a draw, ideally. They could draw today and still advance if Panama also draws or loses to Bolivia, the worst team in the group. Again, they take on Uruguay tonight at 9 Eastern. So soccer reporter Alexis Nunez is in Kansas City covering this match. Okay, Alexis, what are players saying about being on the brink of elimination?
Well, do you know what, Ryan? It's actually just business as usual for the U.S. men's national team. I think the rest of us, when we read through all the scenarios that you just did, it was panic stations just at the thought of facing elimination, because we went one day from wondering if they'll finish first or second in this group to now not knowing if they'll advance at all. But the players themselves are taking this all in stride. Tyler Adams was the one who reminded us that the USA have been in this situation before. The players have been in similar situations as well with club and country, so they know experience that they can draw on. And as for Captain Christian Pulisic, just listen to what he had to say about how they'll approach this one.
I don't think we have to play the best game of our lives. Maybe I was a bit emotional. I think we have to play a really strong game. I know we have a good enough team that if we do that and put on a really good performance, that's, means coming out with intensity from the start, not letting emotions get the best of us, though, sticking to our game plan and trusting that we have a good enough team and that, eventually over the 90 minutes we can, grab a goal and go ahead and win the game. So I think we just need a really strong performance. The best game of our lives would be great, but that doesn't happen often.
They're going to need a really strong performance considering Uruguay has 8 goals this tournament. They're also going to need a goalkeeper. Matt Turner sustained a leg injury from a collision against Panama, subbed out at halftime. Alexis, what's the latest on his status for tonight?
Yeah, Ryan, this entire week has just turned into Matt Turner watch, really. But I do have some good news to report, and that is the fact that we have seen Matt Turner not once, but twice at training. The first day, which was on Saturday, he didn't take part in the entire training. We were told he took part in the limited training. He did say that he is feeling much better and feels really lucky to have come out of that nasty knock with a Panamanian player, how he has. But he's doing everything possible to play again on Monday. As for yesterday, he did take part in the entire training, but unfortunately he still says the situation is day to day, so we'll see if he does take part today. Ethan Horvath still a very much capable replacement. And then there's also the questions of who replaces Tim Weah. He is such a potent player up there in the USA's attack, which they're going to need today, because we're looking at a scenario where they're going to have to score a lot of goals to beat Uruguay and hope to get through. Well, we're hearing that maybe Haji Wright from Coventry City, he's enjoyed a great season over in the championship in England with over 20 goals. He could be a fit replacement, or maybe Gio Reyna could go out in that position as well, which would then bring Yunus Musa back into the midfield. So plenty options for the U.S., but they definitely do have it up against them.
Okay, plenty to watch for with the U.S. Alexis Nunes giving us the very latest on the U.S. at the Copa America.
Caitlin Clark is kind of like Diana Taurasi 2.0. More of a playmaker, perhaps, but two unstoppable offensive forces going at it in Phoenix yesterday. One about 20 years older than the other. In fact, the largest age gap by opposing starting guards in WNBA history. Early first, Taurasi at 42. Still getting it done. Throws it into reverse. Mercury by 8 at that point. Then Clark comes down court, finds the logo and the bottom of the barrel. Quarter two now. Clark was playing through a migraine yesterday. Didn't seem to affect her game much. Gets a clear path and one. Fever down one after the foul shot. Taurasi outscoring Clark. Had 13 at the half, 19 for the game. The rookie better all-round numbers, but Phoenix up 11 at halftime. To the fourth quarter we go. Fever down 6. Clark creating and then finding Aaliyah Boston. Spotting up over in the corner. Boston had 17 and 8 boards. Fever down 3. Then Kelsey Mitchell really took over. Elbow J off the window, gets knocked down, makes her foul shot. Fever take the lead. Fever down 1 last minute. It's Mitchell again, rattling this home. She had 16. All of them came in half 2. Clark misses a triple-double by just 1 rebound, and the Fever beat the Mercury in Phoenix. Here's Michael Vopel with more.
In a matchup that was all about the new face of the WNBA getting her reality is coming moment, Caitlin Clark's reality, when you looked at the box score Sunday, was very nearly the first ever rookie triple-double. And when the game was over, Diana Taurasi came to the podium, facing the reality that the Mercury squandered multiple double-digit leads, but also recognized what she was seeing on the other side.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing. What Caitlin's been able to do in her short career so far has just been nothing short of remarkable. And the one thing that I really love about her, she loves the game. You can tell she's put the work in. And even, throughout her short WNBA career, it's been a lot of pressure, a lot of things thrown at her. And, she keeps showing up and keeps getting better every single game. So her future is super bright. And, being a veteran and being in this league for a long, long time, it's pretty cool to see that and, going into the future.
As for that triple-double, Fever head coach Christy Sides said she was not aware how close Caitlin was until after the game, a game where Caitlin played all but 33 seconds while battling illness from a migraine that kept her away from the podium, but not out of the win column. In Phoenix, I'm Michael Vopel, ESPN.
In other WNBA news, Angel Reese has done it again. The Sky rookie notched her 10th straight double-double yesterday. That breaks a WNBA single-season record. She needed to make a foul shot with 23 seconds left to get her 10th point, and she did. The Lynx, though, beat the Sky 70-62. Reese finished with 10 points and 16 boards in the loss. Reese and Clark have had impressive starts to their careers. Basically, it's a two-woman battle for Rookie of the Year, according to ESPN Bet. Clark on her way to being the 4th player to average a 15, 5, and 5 in WNBA history, while Reese is trying to be the first rookie to average a double-double since Tina Charles back in 2010. Caitlin Clark and the Fever wrap it up their 5-game roadie tomorrow night on ESPN when they have to go to Vegas to visit Asia Wilson and the Aces. Coverage starts with WNBA Countdown tomorrow night, 9 Eastern, followed by tip-off 9:30 Eastern on ESPN. Really shaky start for Caitlin Clark in her pro career, but things are smoothing out pretty nicely right now for her.
Yeah, and what she's doing with Angel Reese right now, unprecedented. The two of them. Can't wait to see who wins Rookie of the Year.
A good rivalry for the next decade or so.